The Palmer House, located in the Chicago Loop area, is currently the longest operating hotel in the United States of America. It has been a pillar of Chicago society for the past 130 years and is a symbol of the grandeur and luxury that dominated the Gilded Age here in the United States. The first Palmer House was built on the corner of State and Quincy and opened in 1870. It was commissioned by Potter Palmer, a prominent businessman in 19th and 20th century Chicago, as a wedding present for his new bride Bertha. Shortly after the hotel's opening, Palmer commissioned another hotel to be built by the same architect, John Van Osdol, on State and Monroe. Sadly, during the construction of the second hotel, both hotels were destroyed by the Great Chicago Fire. Luckily, all the plans for the Palmer House were saved, and construction for a third Palmer House quickly began from the ruins on State and Monroe. This third iteration of the Palmer House opened in 1873 and was at the time of its opening the largest and only fireproof hotel in the United States. Costing a grand total of $13 million, the hotel was both admired and mocked for its opulence. The interior was filled with expensive Italian marble and mosaics, and it was the first hotel in the city of Chicago to include elevators, electric lights, and telephones. These amenities made Chicago a frontrunner in a competition between U.S. cities that sparked during the Gilded Age. Many of the country's larger cities seemed to be competing for nation and worldwide notoriety, manifesting itself in a contest to see who could be the most luxurious. As a newer city in the U.S., Chicago had a lot to prove to be taken seriously as a place of culture and sophistication. Potter Palmer was up against the Astors in New York, a prominent family in a much older city, and other East Coast cities that had existed for hundreds of years. His expansion on State Street, including the Palmer House, was what Chicago needed to get a leg up in the competition. In 1919, Potter Palmer's sons, Honor and Palmer Jr., hired Halliburton Roach to rebuild the Palmer House as a way to honor their father. When this new Palmer House, the hotel that stands today, was finally complete, it was 25 stories and contained over 2,000 guest rooms. Built out of brick and limestone, the current Palmer House is designed in the classical revival style with many French neoclassical influences. These classical features include paired pilasters and niches on the exterior of the building, which are reflective of the temples and bathhouses of ancient Rome. The interior of the Palmer House is also filled with neoclassical touches, thanks to Bertha Palmer's interest in French art and romance. Her influence can be seen in many of the hotel's paintings and decorations, even today. Greeting guests at the landing leading from the street to the main lobby is the famous statue of Romeo and Juliet commissioned by Bertha Palmer. Stationed here, these figures, clad in classic Greco-Roman apparel, seem to meet and guide the visitors entering the hotel like a tutelary deity from ancient times. As patrons of romance, it's possible that Bertha chose Romeo and Juliet to stand guard as a symbol of love, a fundamental reason for the hotel's commission. After walking past the statue, guests are then met with the incredible 21 fresco collection on the ceiling created by Louis Pierre Regal. The three main paintings in this compilation, reminiscent of the sensual artwork found in Pompeian houses, depict portraits of Venus, Daphne, and Apollo. These figures are associated with love and beauty in classical mythology, and the paintings seem to celebrate these same virtues. As George Will, a Chicago Sun-Times columnist, put, "The fresco is a wonderful protest of romance against the everydayness of life." In the past few decades, the Palmer House has undergone a series of renovations and remodeling. The current Palmer House was named a Chicago landmark on December 13, 2006, due to its historical and architectural influence. It was also named one of the historic hotels in America in October of that same year. It made a big name for Chicago during the Gilded Age, helping put Chicago on the map during the race for notoriety. Consequently, the Palmer House has earned its rightful place among Chicago's most renowned hotels and is visited by many up to this day.